I'm going to put on the waiting music here. So here we go. Can you hear that, Anne? It's a very classy show. Very classy. We are streaming everywhere.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So you wanna
So you
be
want to be
a
a
cool
cool. Okay, let me start the recording.
handy with an ink and set,
I'll send you the link.
looking real,
Looking real, cool and fine.
casting your fat
Casting your net. So you want to be. Wait for the drum roll. You go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I wrote the lyrics, and my good friend in Paris, Serge Hoffman, wrote the music and sings it for me. I'm Bonnie D. Very happy to be here with a wonderful new guest on TOO, all in caps. That's important, kids. Saucy Dames. Anne C. Ann Charles is with me. How are you, Anne?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Lovely. I'm happy to see lovely you. I met you through a mutual colleague, Mickey.
Mhm.
I'm Mickey Mickelson from Creative Edge PR, and you've been on one of my other shows a couple of times on Read
Yeah.
My Lips. By the way, I rebranded Read My Lips yesterday. Did you
I
know that?
saw that. I saw something come through on that.
Yeah, it's
It's
now the
exciting.
the creativity show. I got to go do the work to get the rebrand going out. But I want to welcome you, and I have some interesting intros. I want you to sit back and enjoy this and see if you know who this person is. So, let
Okay.
me start. You may know us well, Bonnie D and Ann C too. TOO as well as TWO, Saucy Dames, living our passion so true. We're here today in social's viral embrace. Give yourself a hug, Ann,
Mhm.
sharing our insights in this very special space. Welcome to We Dish, where we've come to play, lighting up life in our uniquely fresh way. Welcoming Ann C. to my live streaming latitude. After my rhyming intro, she'll add more with attitude. Here we go.
Mm.
She never dreamed of writing, not part of her plan. Author Anne thought, nah, that's too boring, no ma'am. But fate had a twist with ironic delight, and she found her calling by scribbling at night. Split childhood roots shaped the girl she became, Ohio's farm flatlands and Deadwood's wild fame.
Mm.
With farmer and nurse, house cleaner, woodman, Anne's family taught her grit in life's shifting span. Teen years were dances, late cruising in cars, studying hard while she gazed at the stars. When TV gave limits and Atari grew old, Anne reached for the Harlequins, romances so bold. Her family weren't writers, no pens, excuse me, in their hands, yet stories so whispered with sly, sweet demands. Anne dreamed many futures, translator, lawyer, flight crew, even camel jockey in a painting or two. From Ohio to Cali to Arizona's sun to Washington's rains, Anne's studies weren't done. 4 colleges later, the pattern was clear. English 101, it kept repeating and reappearing every year. So Anne got the message. She'd better take note. A destiny calling she couldn't demote. She added creative writing, gave fiction a try, while banking, tech, manuals paid bills on the sly. For 14 long years, Anne wrote software and guides. By night, polished her fiction that shimmered inside. 7 novels Anne drafted, rewrote, and refined, while agents set rejections that bruised but aligned. Anne's breakthrough arrived, nearly departed in Deadwood. It almost hit New York, though the nose still stood. But Anne didn't falter. She published instead. With awards in her pocket, her series was fed. Amazon's Kindle gave spark to Anne's flame. Readers discovered and spread around her name. With BookBub's big boost, Anne's star rose so high. USA Today put her books in the sky. Now mysteries flourish in Jack Rabbit's place. In the jungles of Maya, she sets a fast pace. With her husband, Anne spins Deadwood Undertakers, ooh, lore. 39 titles and more in store. Ups and downs, laughter, some sanity lost, yet Anne keeps on writing, whatever the cost. A too saucy dame here today with bold wit in her pen. I'm happy to welcome Anne C. Let the fun begin. What'd you think?
That is amazing. That's awesome. You know what I want to do? I want to hear that set to like, they would do those songs in old England, where they would sit around a tavern and sing it and do
Oh, we
yeah.
could get music. I'll get somebody to, and let me finish up now. Here we go. We're here on We Dish, chatting on life's score, culture, music, food, and oh, so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night, and enjoy our dishing with shared delight. And I won't be here. That's why they invented on demand. Okay. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know. We Dish, TOO, Saucy Dame, and another Saucy Dame too, Bonnie D and Ann C, dishing on life's fun, pour vu. So there we are. And I have to admit, Sylvie, my colleague, collaborator, you know who she is, helped me with the rhyming bio, and I fed her your long origin story, and she came up with all of this. I said in English, because she likes to speak French, in English, rhyming, intro, overview, 12 stanzas. And she sent me the draft, and I went through and
Wow.
compared it back to everything you sent me. I changed some of the rhymes, I changed the order. I'm back and said, no, we missed this, we missed that. And we collaborated. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I
Now,
did.
is there anything else you'd like to add, anything you'd like to embellish on or enhance that was mentioned in the intro?
No, that was so much fun. I'm just like I said, I really needed a big pint, to sit there and raise it to it.
We'll have to do the show at night, then you'll come back and we'll do it again. Okay. And I'll
Yeah,
refresh that. There you go.
it's
And
coffee for now.
by the way, anybody watching, I've changed the typeface and the color of Saucy Names in Anne's honor. I didn't realize she was going to be blonde. I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. She tells me she's been blonde a long time, but I thought in your honor I would get it a little more saucy there on the Saucy Dame. So that's
I
part
like
of
that.
I'm rebranding a lot of my shows. So Anne, it's time to talk about music. Your favorite music, music that has accompanied your life, music that means something to you, music that tells the story of you, anything, share. It doesn't matter the age, the era, the genre, the performers, the style. Talk to me. Tell me a little bit about your favorite music. I'm putting you on speaker view, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's hard because I'm old and there's been so much music, right? And so many different genres throughout my life as I age, and go from one style to the next. But I thought about it. I looked through all my Spotify and the different things I have and picked three that I still go back to time and again. Number one, Southern Cross, Crosby, Stills and Nash. When I was young, I thought he said when he says when you see the Southern Cross for the first time, I looked that up. I thought, is this, is he talking about a cross down in like Alabama? And then I realized, oh, he's sailing. He's talking about the sky, and that got me into astronomy. And really, I took several classes in college, and I still will watch anything I can about the universe. It's a fascinating thing, and I feel really bad. I think it's Voyager 1 that's been out since like what, 1974 or 71 they sent it out. And I always tell my husband, if after death I can travel up to the stars, I'm going to go find Voyager 1 because I feel bad for it. It's all alone out there. It needs some
Oh,
company,
oh, we got to give it. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Let me get this up here. We got to, wait a minute. We got to do that again. There, that's you're feeling bad for it. Okay, I had to do the sound effect.
I
Please,
like it.
please, please continue. Go ahead.
So that was one. Another one is Love and Touch and Squeezing by Journey. I mean, I love Journey. I like a lot of their music, but that's one that every time it comes on, you crank it up and you sing right along with them. And it's such a fun song still.
Can you sing a little? I'm not familiar with that one
Oh,
from
please,
Journey.
I cannot sing. Please, my family will tell you don't have her sing. You make me weak. I'm gonna die. The chorus is love and touch and squeeze, and you know it if you heard it. You would
Okay,
know it because they
I'll
played it
go
on the
find it.
radio.
All right,
Back when
here.
we only had radio.
Okay, thank you. That was a gasp. Okay, go ahead. I love my sound effects. I have a new toy. Go
I
ahead.
could do that.
What's your next one?
And the last one that I grabbed was an old country song by Don Williams, who they called him the Golden Throat. Um, and it's I Believe in You. And it's just a fun song that I just always have loved. I don't believe in something. I can't think of it right now because it's too early and I'm still drinking coffee. But in the end, if you listen to it, he goes through, he doesn't believe in this and he doesn't believe in that. And it's really kind of a sign of the times. He's talking a little bit about um, I don't believe in the price of gold, the security of growing old. I don't believe in all this. And then he goes back to I believe in you, but I believe in you always. So it's a
Oh,
romance kind of song, but it's also kind of about life in general, and I think it's fun.
oh. There we go. That's what you get for that one. Okay, you want to hear some of my songs?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, I found out years later that the Donna Summer discography, I was a disco dancer. Let me get myself back on the screen here, Ann. I was a disco dancer, performer, and teacher years ago when I was living in Oregon, believe it
Fun.
or not. And I was dancing to a lot of Donna Summer songs, including with my dance partner Michael in a Disco Hawaii contest where we came in third.
Ooh,
And I went back and looked at the Donna Summer. So I'm a disco kid, and I looked back at her discography, and I realized that the list of most of her popular songs tells a story of my life. Interesting.
mm,
So, and I wish she was still here because I think I would enjoy newer music from her. So, one is she works hard for the money. Yes, I
mm,
always have. Another one is Hot Stuff, although she wrote it about the streetwalkers in LA, and I've never walked those streets, but I've been called Hot Stuff. On the radio.
I
I
remember.
have been on the radio. I still call this radio, even though we're live streaming on Zoom, on video, but I still call this. I've been on the radio for 25 years, and I never say I'm old, Ann. Never say that. Please stop saying that. No More Tears, Enough is Enough, which is a duet. I think it was with Streisand. I've had my share of tears, and I stopped crying. Last Dance. Well, I don't teach
Mm,
anymore. I dance in my kitchen. So Last Dance, Last Chance for Love. I just killed that one. And then I Feel Love with that wonderful mechanical Giorgio Moroder beat.
right.
I Feel Love sounded like they were on a horse. Anyway, and the song that Michael and I performed to in the Disco Hawaii was Heaven Knows from Donna Summer's
Yeah.
MacArthur Park Suite. Now, her MacArthur Park Suite made more got more hits and more higher up on the charts than Richard Harris's original MacArthur Park Suite. She went higher on the charts, but there was a song called Heaven Knows Just How Much I Love You. Michael and I came in homemade costumes, blue hammered silk. I had a spaghetti strap top and a satin skirt, and that was a 360-degree circle that attached only at the waist. I was 97 pounds, and I had fishnet stockings and black heels. And Michael had a shirt his mother made with puffy sleeves from the same blue fabric. We shared the fabric. And we came in from opposite sides of the floor. Da, 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 da. He lifted me over his head, did a spin, Travolta, Saturday Night Fever style, then death dropped me to the floor, 6 inches above the floor. My skirt went out in a full circle. This is what I remember anyway. And then he lifted me up and we started our routine. And it was thrilling. So those are the Donna Summer songs that mean a lot to me, but I'll give you a couple more and you might relate to some of these. How about Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a standard. Leslie Gore's You Don't Own Me. I went
Mm-hmm.
to the same college as Leslie. I'll tell you later when I saw her in the bookstore one day. No, I didn't ask for an autograph. Helen Reddy's I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. And
Mm-hmm.
one more, Janis Joplin, Me and Bobby McGee, 19.
Oh, yeah, all of those. And now I'm gonna have to listen to Donna Summer because every time you said the song, it would start playing in my head, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I really love that song
Oh
too."
yeah, oh yeah. Well,
So
the
yeah,
Janis Joplin theme is freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
I love that line.
And I think a lot of us live that way, don't you?
Yeah, the other line in that song that always windshield wipers keeping time, I think it is.
Oh,
And I always stick with that whenever, it's perfect. When you're driving, when you're whatever, it's just the swish, swish, swish. It's keeping
I
time
don't
for us.
remember. I have to go back and listen to the song. Isn't that interesting? This is why I like to share music on this show because I learn about other people's favorite, sometimes same music, just different lines. Windshield wipers keeping. Isn't that true?
I think it goes windshield wipers keeping time, holding Bobby's hand in mine. That's all
Oh,
I got this morning.
I love
So,
it. I love it. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go into the part of the show called OTT Off the Top. And I've got some topics. I'll ask you to put your POV and your experience into one at a time, and I will give mine as well. And then we'll go through the list. I have to get my phone ready because I think I'm expecting a call here. Okay. Your creativity superpower, Anne. Is there something about it? First of all, can you define it? Second of all, what do you love about it and what do you love not so much? What do you think it is? Your main superpower. Does it have anything to do with your writing or how you live or I don't know, how you look or what do you think it is?
Well, funny, I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday who helps out a lot with everything we do. And she listens to all the podcasts I do. She reads everything and she helps me with marketing. And I had thought my superpower would be writing humor because I didn't think about it at the time, but another author who writes humor, she's amazing. She told me, "Do you realize how hard it is to write humor?" And I said, "No, don't tell me that because I just do it. And if I start looking into the sun, I'm probably going to not be funny anymore." So I thought writing humor was a superpower, thanks to what she said. But my sister-in-law said, "You know what your superpower is?" Out of the blue. I hadn't even told her this was a question you were talking about. And she said, it's my ability with presentation skills to do talks, to stand up in front of people and just do a talk and make it entertaining. And I can do the same talk and then I'll change it for the next one, even though it's the same topic, because I pull different things from my past and
Yep.
and part of that comes from years and years of writing,
Yes.
and different experiences. So I just pull it all together. But she had said, "That's your superpower." And I thought, well, I thought it was writing humor. So I don't know for
Well,
sure what
you
it
got
is.
two. You get two. Now, I'm going to make a comment about what you just said about presentations. Apparently, Robin Williams, late, wonderful, great actor, comedian who had so many faces and so many personas, was there a role he couldn't play seriously over
Right,
the
right.
course of his movies and his everything he did? He apparently had the ability to make his comedy routine sound absolutely fresh the minute he walked out into an audience or got on a stage. But it was written. It was
Mm,
scripted. And I
mm.
read that he had this ability to make it so fresh. Each time he went out, people thought, he wrote that joke for me, or that's brand new. There was something about the way he was able to relate to the audience and present, which is the word you just said. So I'm going to compliment you on that. You want to
Well,
know
thank you.
what my superpower is?
Yeah, what?
Getting people like you to talk to me.
Well, I love to talk with you. I mean, you're so much fun. So as
Thank
soon
you.
as you said something about this show, I was like, yes, I want to do that with you.
You
That's going to be
did.
so much fun.
Thank you. You did. And I appreciated that. I haven't gotten that response. This show is part of a series, We Dish 200 Saucy Dames, plural, and We Dish TOO Saucy Dame plus Cool Dude. I'm up to 48 cool dudes. My goal
Wow.
is to get two more by November, cutting it close because I started that series middle of November in 2024. The Saucy Dame was the first thought, and I had three friends, Karen, Sherry, and Mary, who took turns being on Saucy Dames, and I did 45 episodes with them. Poor lady. We just kept doing it over and over and over again. 45. And then I said, okay, ladies, I'm going to give you a break. You got lives too. So I started inviting other ladies, and
Mm,
you're part of that new stream. So altogether, I
great.
think I've got like almost over a hundred episodes of the We Dish series, but who's counting, right? So let's
Exactly.
go to another one. Okay, Ann, this is important. People want to know. You're successful, you're beautiful, you are prolific in your writing, over 30 books, you write humor, you do presentations, you do podcasts. You're a force of nature. Question: how do you start your day? Is it
Coffee.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I
We
beat
want
you
to
to it.
we want to know what kind of coffee, home brewed or is it drip or is it where what do you do? Talk to me.
It is, I think it's drip. This is how, so when I first met my husband 25 plus years ago, I didn't drink coffee. I was like, no, 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 that stuff's not for me. I don't want to drink that. I don't want anything to do with that. Um, but then he got me started drinking coffee. And I've stopped a couple times for different reasons. I like to challenge myself. I mean, one year I went without chocolate just to show that I could do it. It was weird. Um, but I love coffee and he makes it for me a lot of the times because he says he has a special method and recipe. And I cannot make my coffee taste as good as what he does with the different things, and he whips cream up for it and everything. So I'm kind of spoiled that way.
Wow. Any particular flavor, brand? Do you put anything, swirl anything on top of it? Is there a special cup you have? We want a little more.
Okay, so I use some chocolate flavoring in it a little bit, like a
Oh,
powder that I mix in, plus some mushroom stuff now because mushroom's supposed to make your brain better. So we mix all that in, and then squirts of sugar-free vanilla and some sugar-free hazelnut
oh,
because
nice.
I like my coffee to taste like just about everything but coffee. So I like it sweet and tasty. And we try to use like sugar-free stuff and like monk fruit sugar and different stuff like that now because, I need to watch those things.
You're
But
writing comedy right now while you're sitting down.
but yeah, so it's a mix. And I swear to God, I try like today I made my own because I got up early. I was starting to get ready for this and I made it and I was just like, it
Mm.
just doesn't taste. And if I try to whip the cream, the cream and make it taste, it's always runny. It's never as good as he is. So it's just like he makes my coffee and it's
That's
amazing.
nice. There's a song in there. He makes my coffee. We gotta write that. He makes my coffee. Never mind. I was gonna say something about whipping the cream. We'll leave that one alone. Okay. My super drink is
Hmm.
it's 8 ounces of one. This is how I know how much milk is left in the container. I buy 2 half gallons of 1% milk every week. And I fill it's a single serve, if you will. It's a blender that has a pulse on it. It's the Hamilton Beach individual, so it's not a great big blender. And it takes about 12 or 14 ounces. So I measure it up to the 8 ounce, and that's how I get 4 servings out of a half gallon of milk. Thank you very much. One banana. If you see a lady, if you happen to come to this part of Tennessee and see a lady with red hair in the supermarket in the produce department, Ann, who is spending an extraordinary amount of time going to either side of the banana display, putting them up, looking at them, making sure they're not too green, not too yellow, no black spots, no bruises, no holes in them, and putting them back and maybe picking 9 individual because they have to last a week because she only goes, that's me. And so I take a banana that's not mushy, not hard, because if it's hard, it leaves a taste all day. Put the banana in pieces, and I have frozen, sliced, unsweetened strawberries. Then instead of sugar, I use agave syrup, which is a sweetener, but it's nice. It's very brown, looks like molasses, but it's thin, and I have a special. And it comes in a clear plastic bottle with a little squeezer on top.
Hmm.
I save those when I'm done with those, and I use them to water the plants on my windowsill. Because if you put the
Oh.
water in, you just turn it up. It's a flat bottle. It's about so big. I should have brought one in with me with a little opener with a little hole in it. And I tilt it over and I squirt a little bit of water into each of the little flower pots on my windowsill instead of using a great big watering can. So I'm repurposing. I'm so proud of myself. So, and then sometimes I add unsweetened Hershey's cocoa, the dark
Mm.
stuff, not the extra dark, the regular one. And if I'm really feeling good or bad, I add a little bit of Breyer's old-fashioned vanilla ice cream just to
Oh,
try
yum.
thicken it a little. And so I put the blender on and I use it. This is going to sound silly. I use it as a ritual to send blessings or good wishes to the people in my life I care about. So I
Mm.
mention a couple of pulses on for my two grandpuppies, Amos and Jake, and then for my daughter and her husband, and then for my son and his wife, and then for my granddaughters. And then I do a general wish for all the people. I just started doing this recently for all the people I know who are having any health problems or anything going on. And I just send good wishes to. I don't know why. And so
Love
I
it.
kind of meditate over it. And I just started doing this a couple weeks ago. I've been making the milkshake for years, but I just started standing there and I'll do, this is for you. This is for you. And I drink it with right out of the container, take the plastic top off, rinse it off so there's no residue on the sides of the little opening, and put in a reusable plastic straw that it has the privilege of being cleaned every day with a pipe cleaner on along. They come with pipe
Hmm.
cleaners now.
Hmm.
So everything is, so that's my power drink. What do you think of that?
Yum. That sounds delicious.
It
I'm gonna
actually
come
is.
over and
You
you're gonna
can.
make that for me.
I would be delighted. Or we'll just do a Zoom in my kitchen. That will be
Okay.
fine if you
Okay.
can't get here.
It
Now,
sounds great.
another topic, something you broke, lost, sold, gave away, or just simply cannot find. That goes with lost, of course, that you wish you still had. And
Wow, that's tough.
I know,
I don't,
could be a
can you
car.
go first and let me think while you tell me yours?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that there are times when I do a lot of artwork. I have over 300 paintings here in my house on walls and in bags and boxes and on the floors and everywhere. And sometimes I find, and I've moved several times in my life, many times actually. Sometimes I find that a pair of earrings that I really liked, the mate is gone. It's just
Mm.
gone. I don't know if you call that divorced earrings or separated earrings, but I just thought about that. You could use that if you want. But anyway, so one day this is a rescue story actually. One day I was doing a collage many years ago when I started painting, and I was doing this wacky picture of a lady who looks like almost the woman behind us here, but a little bit off, a little off center with a wink. And I needed jewelry to make her eye look good. So I took one of the earrings and I punched it through the canvas and put the actual backing on it, and it stayed. And that became her eye. And then I gave her a neck. So I would say things I've lost that I wish I had. I wish I had the mates to those earrings so I could wear them instead of having them on a painting on the wall in the bedroom. But so that's something, and I just thought about. I've never mentioned that to anybody quite that way. So that's how
Hmm.
I collage. So I'd say don't throw away those. And you know everybody has mismatched socks that go
Oh
into the
yeah.
dryer and disappear. But I don't think you could use them in your artwork. So
Probably
so
not.
did that
No.
inspire you? Anything come up to mind?
So I am the finder in our family. And I like
Ah,
to think that I have this particular superpower because I've been told that my grandmother is my guardian ghost. Um, and
spirit.
so I like to think, yeah, that she is hanging around me and she helps me find stuff that has been lost. So that's why when you said that, I thought, what has been lost that I haven't found? Because it's almost like I become Sherlock Holmes. If my kid says, I can't find my wallet. Okay, so let's backtrack. Let's do this. And it's like I go into Sherlock Holmes mode, get my big pipe, and I don't know, how do you hold a pipe? Anyway, so one thing I've not been able to find that drives me nuts is my son's upper retainer. And we paid all
Oh,
kinds of money for braces and the retainers, and I did not get the replacement insurance because I thought this kid, he does pretty good. He won't lose that upper retainer. And I kid you not a year later, he says he finally admits I haven't been able to find my retainer for about 3 months. And it's like, oh man, all that money for your teeth to be straightened. And you can see they're a little crooked again. And it's like,
oh,
and I searched his room top to bottom everywhere. And the only thing I can think of is either an imp took it to another realm or it accidentally got knocked into the trash at some point and it
oh
went into
man.
out with the rest of the trash.
You
But
need an air tag. You need an Apple air
I
tag
know
on that.
on
How can
that
you put a tag on a retainer?
I kicked myself for not getting the insurance where you could get a replacement. I
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Those
one thing
are
that's
tough
been lost.
decisions. You get insurance on your refrigerator, you get it on your microwave. Now you got to get it on your kid's retainer.
I know. I'm not a
Oh,
warranty insurance, that type of
yeah.
person. I've been burned
Me
enough
either.
in life that I
Oh, yeah.
go, oh, screw your warranty,
Oh,
kind of a
yeah.
thing, but
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay, hold on. Let me see what our next topic is. Wait a minute. I have a phone call here. Let's see what's going on. Hold on. Hello? Okay, I got the wrong line. Okay. Okay. Hello? Yes, this is Bonnie D. I'm kind of busy right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm here with this incredibly wonderful author, very talented lady named Ann Charles. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who's this? Steven Spielberg? Steven Spielberg's calling for wait a minute. Michael Bay, James Cameron, Quentin Tarantino, Scorsese, Clint Eastwood, Zemeckis. Wait a minute. Michelle and Robert King, Aaron Sorkin, Shonda. Well, what do you all want? Oh, you're having brunch somewhere. I'll tell you about the origin of the word brunch later on. You want to talk to Ann? No, you can't talk to Ann, but you can talk to me. What would you like? Okay, you want to make a movie or a TV show, and Anne has to decide what it's going to be, not about Anne, but with the lead character reflecting Anne's life. So it's modeled on Anne, but it's not about her. Okay. And it could be an action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, time travel, any of those. And you want her to pick the title of the movie or TV show. You want her to pick the actress to play that character. You want her to name the character, and you want her, this is the hardest part, you want her to pick one of you. How is she going to pick between Spielberg and Zemeckis and Nolan and Guy Ritchie? I didn't even mention them. Okay, listen, you go have brunch, have a couple of cocktails, and they're having mimosas. I can hear that. I can tell. Okay, don't have too much, and I will call you back after the show and let you know what Ann said, or I'll send you the link. Okay? Thank you for Ann. Are you excited? Are you flattered by this?
Oh yeah.
Ann is very flattered by this. Okay, thank you very much. Bye. All right, let me hang up the phone. Wow, that was such a disruption. Okay, Ann, you're up. Whom would you like to direct? Is it TV or is it movie? Is it a serial TV show, a season, or a one-off limited series? What's it going to be called? What's the genre? What's the character based on your life, but not you, not about you? Who's going to play you? Okay, Ann, go.
Oh boy, this is so tough.
I
Um,
know.
one of my favorite actresses is Emily Blunt. I just adore her. So I know she's younger than me, but anything Emily does, I just gobble up. And she can do funny, she can do scary, she can, do drama. She goes all over the board. So let's Emily Blunt, of course,
Okay.
what an
She-
honor.
Lead
Uh,
character, movie or TV?
I love to watch TV series,
Me too.
8 to 10 episodes a season.
Do you
Um, I
binge? Do you binge them on demand or do you?
I'm binger. And
Me
and I
too.
have to really work at it. Because I want to binge and my husband will say like, "We watched 3 already tonight. Is that enough?" It's like, "Not really, but okay, we'll pause." Because he'll binge some, but he has more control than I do. I'm just like, I'm going all in. I'm staying up till 5 a.m. This is it. And I always read books like that too. I'm up through the night because it's like
Mhm.
I got to finish the story. I
On
can't
a roll.
stop. So that's why I say it'd be more fun as a series like that.
I like that. What's it going to be called?
Oh God, maybe that's what it's called. Oh God,
Well,
like,
you could
ugh.
name it after one of your books because it's
Nearly departed in. I don't know. I was thinking trying to make fun with Anne. With something with Anne. Anne's nearly departed or something. I don't know. That's hard
Antsy.
about.
How about Antsy?
There we go.
Antsy.
Antsy.
And
Yes.
what genre is this going to be? Is it going to be comedy? Is it going to be thriller? Going to be mystery, murder, detective show, procedural?
I
Just a
love a mix of comedy and supernatural.
ooh,
I love those two
that's
blended together.
powerful, lady.
And then, yeah, we can throw some thriller or a little bit of mystery, but I really want comedy and supernatural mixed together because I think those are fun.
That's what you want. That's okay. I just want to make sure we were getting the right type of audience because you have to, write pre-write for the right
Right,
audience.
right, right.
Now the biggest question, director.
So the ones you listed are amazing,
Yeah.
but one of them that I like is Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, yes.
I love his mix of he does a little bit of horror, a little bit of comedy. And so that's why I think he could, the supernatural comedy mix, he would add a fun spin, a little bit of scary in there. Good stuff.
I think that's really, really cool. Mine would be a musical sitcom similar to Reba McEntire's Happy's Place, which is about
Hmm.
she inherits her father's bar with all kinds of crazy characters, and the characters are so well written that every line out of their mouths lands to me. It's must be on hiatus now, but I didn't like the first couple, and then I got back into it, and then I binged it.
Mm.
And Reba would play, of course, the lead character, and she's a redhead, so there you go. And she's funny, and I've done stand up now. I
Yes.
just try to be funny sitting down. And it would be called after one of the Donna Summer songs I mentioned. It would be called either Hot Stuff or She Works Hard for the Money. I think either one would be
Those are
appropriate.
great. Yeah.
And it would be, I recently watched, are you a fan of Leanne Morgan, the comedian?
I think I've seen her a couple times. I can't,
She has some
I,
stand-up specials. Well, she just launched her own a sitcom. It's about and Christine Johnson from Third Rock from the Sun and a lot of other things, who has a face that she can turn into rubber. It's like wearing a
yes,
mask. The things Christine Johnson does with that face are just the mouth and she just makes faces. She's her sister, and Leanne Johnson gets a divorce. Ryan Stiles is the
Ryan
husband
Stiles.
to,
I was going to say,
but
yeah, I saw.
he's miscast in that. He's not the role they gave him is not funny enough. Ryan Stiles is an amazing
He's
actor.
hilarious. And see, I think I watched the first one and I was like, You've got Ryan Stiles.
I
What's
know.
going on?"
I know. But the series is good. And listen to this. It's 19 minutes long. She did 15 episodes, 19 minutes. The mother and father are hysterically funny.
Hmm.
Everybody's funny. They just didn't give enough funny to Ryan Stiles. But it's very, very well done. So I like a show that maybe is 19 tight minutes, no
Yeah.
commercials. Well, that's a challenge. And you can just watch it. You can binge three in an hour. So
Yeah.
your husband won't complain. You stay up till 5 in the morning watching it at three. I just watched my third Leanne. Yeah, so that's what mine would be. So it'd be yeah, hot stuff, and it would be maybe in you know what? It wouldn't be in a bar. It would probably be in a dance studio.
Hmm.
Or my other idea is I used to teach eBay at Adult Education on Long Island, New York.
Hmm.
eBay buying and selling, and I think it would be in a classroom teaching people how to sell on eBay
Oh,
with
that's fun.
the people who come and what they bring that they want to learn how to sell. And in order to get my students, and I was in a six PC lab. So we had six students and they had their own PC, and I got them all online. That was fine. But these were, believe it or not, doctors, lawyers, teachers, people who had had a long, hard day. And my class was from 7 to 10 at night. Oh,
Hmm.
Bonnie, how could you do that? Well, that's when I wanted to teach. So anyway, I had to keep them awake. So I would say to the person, for example, in the back row, and what would you like to sell on eBay today? And you would say, oh, I have this pair of roller skates that I wore in this roller derby 5 years ago, and I had a little pom pom on the cover. And I would say, okay. And I go to Bob in the next sitting next to you in the back row, and I'd say, Bob, you're going to be the buyer, and you have a daughter whose feet are amazingly the same size as Anne's, and you want to buy those roller skates for your daughter, but Mary in the front row wants to buy them for her sister. And so you've got a bidding war. So I would engage them and in a scenario they couldn't go to sleep in my class because I was including them in this performance art, if you will, about
Yeah.
the damn roller skates. And it was so much fun. So I think the history of not only the person wanting to sell it, but the people wanting to buy it and the history of the item they were selling. I thought that would make an interesting sitcom with a lot of stories.
Definitely.
What do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
I think it's funny. It's like, have you seen the Conjuring series with it's the
No.
horror? The Conjuring is horror, and it's they go around because people have collected these like the doll Annabelle that's haunted,
Ooh, yep,
haunted things.
yep.
And he keeps them. There are a couple that go and they try to exorcise out the demons or the ghost, and then they keep the object like Annabelle the doll, and they take it home and he puts it in. They do this special thing where they try to make it not have its power, put it in his locked case and that kind of thing. And each one has its own power and backstory. And it makes me think of along those lines, only with comedy instead of, scary and horrible things happening to people that own them. It's more funny. And then the people that it brings together, the buyer too, would be hilarious.
I think so. We will put in a call after the show today to Guillermo del Toro and
Let's
tell
do
him
it.
tell him he has to go have a Bloody Mary or a mimosa with the other directors and that you want him for your show.
Yes, he's amazing.
Antsy. Okay, or whatever. What did we decide to call it? I
I think it
suggested
was
Antsy.
Antsy. I think that was good. He'll come up with a better title. They'll go, no, no, no. This
It
is what
could
it should
be
be.
AUNTC period and C.
Antsy. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that. Okay, now we're rolling into the next part of the show, which is now, in order to do this, Anne, you have to repeat after me and you have to say it right or we can't do it. I didn't prepare you for this.
Okay.
So we're going into the say what?
Say what?
Not bad. One more time, please.
Say what?
Good. Okay, you passed.
Hmm.
Okay, now we can do it. So, you have three stories, and do you have any visuals you want to share? Because I'm going to get rid of the sound sharing here. So the screen is open if you want to hit share on the bottom and share your
I
screen. It's up to
didn't
you.
bring those.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And
So
I sent that to you and I didn't pull up my list. I have all my other stuff, but I forgot to pull that up. So if you have the list,
I have to look for it. I can just do my three. Let me see if I can find.
I
Hold
can
on.
find it while you're doing that.
Yeah, why don't I do mine and you look for yours because I'd like you to
Okay.
present them, okay? Rather than
Okay.
me. That would be if you don't mind.
Not at
So
all.
I'm going to go into a screen share here and I'm going to start with my say what stories and let me do this now. So we're going to screen share and we're going to screens and we're going to we dish. Here we go. Okay. And I'm going to share this document and there we go. And can you see my screen just so I make sure you got it?
Yes.
Okay, good. There we go. I figured out how to screen share after all these years. Okay. The first say what is portmanteaus. And those of you who are not familiar, it's a French word, yes. If portmanteau originally in the 1800s was a suitcase or a trunk that was so big it could open into two equal parts. You may know somebody who owned one. You may have seen one in a movie, maybe a horror movie. It was repurposed by Lewis Carroll, author of, we know that, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And his version was a word that blends together the sounds and meanings of two other words. That's how we use it today. So here are some portmanteaus. So if you want to sound really classy when you go to a business meeting or a cocktail party, if people still do that anymore, I'm going to give you a couple of them. I have 7 here that are very commonly used. So brunch. Brunch is a combination of breakfast and lunch. It's a portmanteau. It means breakfast and lunch is served. The culinary lines are blurred. And Anne, in 1896, the British magazine Punch added the word blunch. Lunch is usually at the breakfast hour is brunch and lunch is luncheon. So they combined them, and when it's nearer to lunch, they called it blunch rather than brunch. There you go.
Lunch.
It is obscure. So we just have brunch. Now, chillax is a combination of chill and relax. I think people
Mm-hmm.
know that one. Became popular slang in the 1990s. I've never said it to anybody, and I don't think anybody said it to me, and I don't think I would like it.
I think
Motel,
I
what do
have
you
said chillax
have you?
actually in a
Okay.
shameful time. So
See,
let's move
see,
on.
see, I was right. Motel, origins in the 1920s, personal cars were becoming very popular. Motorside and hotel became motel.
Hmm.
Today, motel is a broader definition of a hotel where you can access each room from the parking lot, not going through a lobby. So a little bit different, not just motorside. Now, biopic. Okay, we just talked about that. Abraham Lincoln, Elizabeth II, and Mozart have been the subject of cinematic biopics. It's biographical with picture, meaning a movie about the life of a person. One of the earliest uses was in 1947 in a Variety magazine article, Till the Clouds Rolled By, which was about the life of composer Jerome Kern. Smog, I think we're all familiar with smoke and fog. There are two
Mhm.
kinds of smog. Did you know that? There's sulfurous smog. This is in London, the burning of fossil fuels, no comment. And there's photochemical smog, which is motor vehicle emissions in LA. We know that. Podcast. I didn't realize podcast was a portmanteau. It combines Apple's iPod with the word
Oh,
broadcast.
that's what I
Ah,
was like, where'd the pod come from? But now it makes sense.
that makes sense from the iPod. Let me move this down. Okay, there we go. And British author Ben Hammersley proposed the term podcasting. I didn't know this in a 2004 Guardian article about the new entertainment medium. And the last one is really funny. It's not a spoon, it's not a fork, it's a spork. Have you ever
It's a,
had
sp-
ever had a spork, Ann?
I have used a spork, yes.
You have. Well, Samuel W. Francis filed a patent for a spork-like utensil back in 1874 with the convoluted name Combined Knives, Forks, and Spoons. The word spork appeared in 1909 in a supplement in the Century Dictionary, suggesting it was coined in between those years. In 1951, which is 75 years ago, inventor Hyde W. Ballard, they had such interesting names, registered the term for a trademark when he used spork to refer to a combination spoon and fork made of stainless steel. And this was written by Bennett Kleinman. Do you have your stories ready?
I do have my stories
Would
ready.
you like to share them? Because I'll let you do yours now and then I'll come back with my next two. All right? I'm going to stop sharing.
So, okay. So I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to just kind of summarize with the
Sure.
headline. Watch your garden glow with new genetically modified bioluminescent petunias. So it's a new thing where they're working with plants and making them bioluminescent. So at night, you don't need to have lights along your path. You plant these bioluminescent plants, and it's like a night glowing garden. How fun would that be? Now, I don't know, Frankensteining with plants is, well, I don't know if it's Frankensteining, but mixing, making weird combinations, maybe that'll come back to bite us and they'll be like human eating bioluminescent plants someday. But I was in the ocean in Florida last September, and several friends, writer friends were with me, and oh, one of them, she's amazing. She kept talking about the waves glowing, and I was like, "Have you been drinking? What are you talking about? The waves glowing?" And sure enough, all of a sudden I was looking out at the ocean, and the waves as they would crash were like a fluorescent blue. It was amazing. And I said, do you guys see that the ocean is the waves are like lighting up? And she goes, that's what I'm talking about, bioluminescent
Luminescence.
waves. And I said, why didn't you just tell me that the waves were going to light up fluorescent blue? That would have made more sense. But now I'm seeing it everywhere. And so this was interesting to me.
Very, very.
It was
I'm gonna
beautiful.
tell you a story about that, if I may.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, my dad liked to. He was a boater, a reluctant one, a nervous one, but a boater. And we had a cabin cruisers, I used to call them. We used to go to a beach on Long Island with a bunch of other people from the Power Squadron, and we'd have campfires, and we'd have play charades at night and all that. Anyway, we had an ice box, and it wasn't an electric refrigerator on the boat, an ice box. We did have a little propane stove, but we had an ice box. And Dad would get a block of ice. And guess what was in the ice? Phosphorus.
Hmm.
And if you opened the door to this little ice box, you couldn't keep a lot of things on the ice, but maybe milk and a little bit of something else in there, a juice for breakfast the next morning. We stayed overnight. You looked at it, it glowed, and
Oh, cool.
luminescence, just like you're talking about. You'd look at it, you'd put it in a Coke, and you wouldn't drink the Coke. You say, wow, look at that, it's lighting up. Blues and greens and pinks and yellows, and it was the phosphorus in the ice. So that's the same principle, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to tell you that.
Well, in the era of when we're declaring,
Hmm.
what is it, dark sky areas now that you can go to actually see stars. Um,
I didn't
I
know
love this
that.
idea, instead of street lights or lights all around your house,
Yeah.
having, these bioluminescent plants that kind of glow all around your
Yeah.
house. How cool would that be?
Yeah, I have the solar lights on the borders. I live on a corner property and I have solar lights along the front, and I bought the kind that have 8 different little bulbs in them that you put right into the dirt. It's a circle like this big, and you
Right?
put it right into the dirt, and then they light up at night from the solar from the day, and it's like little spotlights in the garden around the house so that
Oh,
the outside,
pretty.
they're not very bright. They don't wouldn't cast a big glow on you, but they're
Right.
they're decorative, but they're also for safety. And then I have the ones that are like almost a little torch with the light inside of a glass bulb, and those are bigger, and those are on the outside. Those are brighter to keep traffic away from the corners. So I
Right.
I've got to try. Are those available, those plants?
It says, well, I saw something else. I looked up this article because I had read another article somewhere about you can buy bioluminescent plants now. And I
Hmm.
was like, what? After seeing those waves, I'm suddenly like, oh,
Yeah.
I have interest in this because it was beautiful. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll have to look it up and see if
I
they,
will. While you're doing your next story, I'm going to go to my phone here. I'm going to look down and put you on speaker view again, and I'm going to see if I can find them. So I'm ready for your next article. Go ahead.
So the next one is about a um, woman who speaks to the dead explains creepy reasons why you should never have a mirror facing your bed.
Oh,
Now, this
shit.
goes along with some of the fun stuff I write, supernatural, and mirrors. Mirrors are so much fun because of the whole, all the different things. But yeah, they're saying if you find yourself suffering from restless sleep, it's because the mirror and its energy. And one of the things in the article talks about, you don't know where that mirror came from, possibly. If it's like an antique mirror, you don't know what has been seen in that mirror and what crimes might have
Wow.
been done, or somebody that's died and their spirit's trapped in the mirror, and then you have it in your room facing your bed. And so they're saying you can have unwanted spirits and you don't want some of these in your home.
Ouch.
So, get the mirror out of your house, or especially out of your bedroom. Because, we
Ouch.
buy antique mirrors. I've bought a couple that I got at sales that are beautiful mirrors. And
Yes, I have
I
some.
love the idea of, uh-oh, what's trapped behind
Never
that
thought
mirror?
about that. Isn't that interesting? And by the way, look what I found for you. Can you see these?
Yeah. Yeah. See, look at that.
Bioluminescent. It's green. I've got green screen on, so you can't see a little bit there. But if I hold it really close, it's coming through the background. Let me see if I can
Yeah, I
hold it
see
farther
it,
away.
but it's see, I think those would be make a beautiful night garden. We
Bio.
happen to live where we can see the stars. We're up in the mountains about a mile high. Unfortunately, I can in the distance see the lights of Phoenix, even though it's 2 hours away, hour and a half away. But ooh, see, pretty.
Aren't these pretty? And let me see if you can. Are your any what plants glow at night? How do they work? Care, creator, applications, ethical concerns, glowing house plants. Wow, you would now have to look at this. Five incredible plants that grow in the glow in the dark. Amazing. Okay, I'll have to do more research on that. Here's one. Look at this.
Oh, look at that thing. How beautiful would that be
They
at
have
night?
mushrooms too. Thank you, Anne. That's a new topic to look up. Okay, and what's your next story?
My final one is, have we found all the major Maya cities down in the Yucatan? So much of the time we think, oh, we found Tikal, we found Chichen Itza, all these big Uxmal, all these big, wonderful Maya cities, but they're coming to find out how, with the use of LiDAR, which is, oh boy, I need to remember what that stands for, and my brain is just not there yet. But they do the my brain is so bad. Radar down, and they
LiDAR,
can see
light
through.
detection and ranging. Remote sensing technology uses pulsed laser light to measure distances and create highly detailed 3D maps of an area. Okay?
Thank you.
You're
And it's so
welcome.
they can see through the trees finally. So they can see, and you can look at all the examples. Oh, I do have a printout of one. Oh, can I do that? Will
You
it show
can
it?
hold it real slowly. Move it a little bit. Move it a little bit closer to you. Move it closer to your face.
There we go.
There we go. Beautiful. Yep. Hold it right close to
I
your
can,
face. There we
you
go.
can you can see a
Okay.
little of it.
Little of it. Yep. There we
So
go.
that's
Okay.
that's LiDAR, what it comes looking. But they can see through the trees. They can see the shape of buildings. They can see walls. They can see roads, the old Maya Sakbe roads. So they're finding that there are thousands of small cities down there where we thought we'd found most everything. The jungle has just buried it. And I love that idea that there's all this, and so many places, in Mexico and Guatemala and different areas, they're not really doing too much yet because they recognize now that in the future we will have even better tools to do archaeology that doesn't destroy when we go looking at it, leaving stuff in situ so that you can actually go see where it was left last, which tells, a lot rather than sitting in a museum. But there is the problem of looting and treasure hunters that you have to then worry about too. So it's kind of a fun subject, and it's something that interests me, and that's what I use with my my dig site series is
Ah.
playing off this, finding new areas. They find it from the sky first, but then they had to ground truth, which means you go down there and you walk it to see if it's, matches what the LiDAR has detected.
Fascinating. I have a friend who has a beachfront condo in Cozumel, and he's a diver, and
Mm.
he created a series of mysteries of underwater treasure. And he researches treasure that was actually lost, and then he writes it using the characters of the people he knows who were his diving buddies, his diving partners.
How fun.
And he creates children's books as well about Harry Hawksbill and about turtles getting along with other species. And he has a newsletter, but it's interesting. But so they say write about what you know. So this is what he knows, and he'll hear a story about some treasure that was, and of course there's always a murder involved, some treasure that was lost, and he might even research replicas of that treasure and get pictures or go to a museum where something is about
Right.
that, and then he writes about that. So that's very interesting, Anne. So you use your curiosity about certain events, certain places, and this becomes the fodder for your books. Interesting.
Yes, yes, and I love Maya mythology. I love their the all the they just have a wonderful, rich mythology that based, a religion that with all their different ideas. And I just love reading about it because it's so different from, what I grew up with.
Very cool. I'm going to go back to screen sharing now, and I'm going to find my next article and share. And I think you'll enjoy this one. I think you can see it. It's coming up on the screen now. And this is a British restaurant is launching UK's first water menu. Interesting. This is a brand new article. This is the sommelier, Doran Binder or Binder. And the name of the restaurant is La Popote. It's a French style restaurant in northern England. It's a Michelin guide listed eatery in the county of Cheshire or Cheshire that offers diners almost 140 varieties of wine. But guess what? They will also serve three different waters and four sparkling and complimentary tap water. And let me scroll this up a little bit. We're going to lose the picture. But based on a Gallup poll last year, 58% of adult Americans, which is interesting because this is a French restaurant in England, 58% of Americans drink alcohol, down from 67% just 3 years ago. Growing number are giving up alcohol permanently or temporarily, and restaurants are offering a range of mocktails. Okay, so Chef Joseph Rollins, who founded and runs the restaurant La Popote with his French partner Gaël Radigon, had initially been approached about the idea by this gentleman you see here in the picture, Doran Binder. I'm going to say Binder. He was supplying the restaurant with their house water, and his brand was Crag Spring Water. That's an interesting title for a story, isn't it, Anne? Crag
Mm-hmm.
Spring. A water sommelier certified by the Fine Water Academy, excuse me, he first suggested the idea of a water menu 3 years ago, and they laughed. Ha, 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 ha. That's ridiculous, they said. But he asked them to come to a tasting at a water bar he owns in the Peak District in north central England. And they said, wow, water isn't just water. It blew our minds. At the first tasting, they tried 5 or 6 varieties. We did a second tasting with the same waters. And here's the trick. And they paired them with foods like manchego cheese, Comté cheese, chocolate,
Hmm.
Parma ham, olives. And they said, just like with a wine, the taste of the water changed. So this restaurant is the first in Britain to offer a water menu. And in case you're wondering about prices, they curated the menu, which has a selection of waters from across Europe, including Britain, France, Spain, and Portugal. They range from $6, this is in American dollars, $6.80 for a large bottle of the Crag brand to $26 for a Portuguese sparkling water. Interesting?
Interesting in that I wonder if they do flights. I would
I
like to sit down and have the little,
Isn't
6 of
that
them.
interesting? And they're talking about distilled water is great for cleaning windows, electrical appliances, your car battery, and it's rubbish for human beings, they say. Seawater is at the other end of the spectrum. Very, very interesting. French water tastes salty, and then you put it with something like ham, and they balance each other out. The water menu is giving diners another dimension. Interesting. And here are Joseph Rollins, the owners of the restaurant, and Gail Radigon outside their restaurant La
I
Popo.
love the look of the restaurant. I
Isn't
read
that
that
something?
about distilled water. When I go to get water, I try to get spring because I had read that about distilled water. It has no value.
Yeah,
We need and who knows what's in the spring water that's bottled, but
absolutely. It could
what
have
was
been,
it? I think Lewis Black, the comedian, said they're bottling it in a couple's bathtub in Pittsburgh or something like that, and they're bottling it as spring water
with a
sometimes.
mirror next to the bathtub with spirits coming in. And I had to do
Exactly.
that. And my last say what is spoonerisms. And Anne wasn't sure what those are. And I told
Mm-mm.
her these are a term coined in 1885, named for a British clergyman and educator named William Archibald Spooner, who lived from 1844 to 1930. Well, he got nervous, and not like you and not like me. He had trouble when he got up in front of the public speaking, and he got nervous and he started mixing up his words, especially the first letters of words. So I have a couple of these are a little risque, some of them. One spoonerism, and then his students who he taught started using these, and some were attributed to him as well, untruthfully. So one is the weight of wages, which is really the rate of wages, and sometimes these make sense. It's in the Oxford Dictionary of Quotations. He said, the weight of wages will press harder and harder upon the employer. What he meant was the rate of wages will
Mm.
press harder and harder, which makes a lot of sense. But you know what? Actually, if people have wages, there you go. So they could be outraged at the employer for the rate of their wages. There you go. This one was a little bit weird. The spoonerism is queer old Dean. He meant dear old Queen. He was toasting Queen Victoria, and he said, "Three cheers
Oops.
for our old queer Dean." Oh my God, queer old Dean. I think she forgave him for that. Now we have one, hags flung out. Its flags hung out when the British soldiers came back after World War One. He meant the Union Jack flag, not the witches. Hags flung out.
Eggs flung out.
Is that something? And here's one. Customary to cuss the bride, meaning it's customary to kiss the bride. So here are some that were attributed to him, but other people said them apparently. Hubert Heaver. It was
Hoover
Herbert
Heaver.
Hoover. In 1931, a radio host named Harry Von Zell nervously referred to then President Herbert Hoover as Hubert Heaver. I'm sorry, it's so funny. In a scripted tribute for the president's birthday. Oops. And here's another one. Bass Ackwards. I've got your bio in here. We're going to get that down here out of the picture here. Bass Ackwards
I've
on a
said that. I mean, that's one I've heard often. Yes.
yes, on a jazz act. It was supposed to be S backwards on a jackass. A 19th century letter by President Abraham Lincoln before spoonerism was something known. He said he was riding bass backwards on a jazz act, threw a patent crutch on a battle sags stuffed full of binger dread. When the animal steered at a scump, he felt right into a great tow curd. I think he did that on purpose. And one more, and this one is children's author, well-known Shel Silverstein, wrote an entire book of spoonerisms called Runny Babbitt, a Billy Sook. So it would be Bunny Rabbit, a silly book.
Yes.
Okay. It
Yes.
was published posthumously after Shel Silverstein passed away in 2005. The adventures of the title character and his friends Toe Jurtle, Skirky Gunk, Wordy Dat, Dungry Hog, and Snary Jake. I
Hmm.
think they are adorable. So I found that article. I thought as a student of language and a user of language, you would appreciate those. I didn't realize I was going to laugh that hard. What do you think, Ann?
I have one,
Yeah.
my stepfather-in-law, he's passed away now, but he loved puns and he was a really smart guy. And we were going to there's a beach in Washington state called Ruby Beach. And we had read that it's where a lot of the younger folks are going to make out. And so instead of Ruby Beach, he changed the name to Booby Reach. And it was a makeout place. So we got such a chuckle out of that every time we would talk about, Ruby Beach, only the other way. So yes, I love those.
Oh, that's adorable. All right. Thank you for that. I didn't realize they were going to be so funny. I read them and I didn't laugh when I did the research. And then I thought, oh my God. By the way, this gentleman whose name you saw on the screen, Bennett Kleinman, apparently writes for, I think it's Nice News, and he's an
Oh,
editor,
I love
assistant editor, and he writes a lot of these wacky language stories. So I'm a follower. Hello to Bennett Kleinman. And his picture, huge picture, is always in the articles. I have to take it out because I don't want to show that. Anyway, Anne, I have a really important question for you, and I'll answer it as well. Let's say somebody is watching this and they have a young woman or a young anybody in their family or somebody they know, a teacher with a student, and they say they want that person to learn to be a saucy dame or a cool dude. It could be. We'll move it along because I have the other series, Cool Dudes. Let's focus on saucy dames. What advice would you give to a young person who wanted to grow up to be like you or even like me and be saucy? What do you think?
Stop caring what other people think.
Ooh.
Just stop and don't look back. I tell my kids that every now and then, you do something, and if you sit there and you stare back at it and you just analyze it, you can spiral. I should have done this. I should have done this. Oh, why did I do that?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
It's the past. You move on. Don't look back. Do better next time. And stop caring so much about what other people think about you.
That's a new one. I've asked a lot of people on this show that's a new one. Mine is, I always tell people, and this was included, I think, in a line Leonard Cohen wrote in one of his songs, is if you see a little crack in the window, open the window and see what's on the other side. Hopefully no snow and ice will blow in at you. But my parody on that, my version of that is if you see a little bit opening in a door, push the damn door open and see what's on the other side. It could lead to a new career. It could lead to meeting interesting people. It could lead you to say, no, that's not what I want. I like what I am. Close the damn door. It could lead
Right.
to a lot of things, but knowledge could be on the other side of the door. And I think, Anne, I don't know how many careers you've had, quite a few. I think I'm on my ninth. And I've pushed open doors and jammed open windows that were jammed, just pushed them open to see what was on the other side and said, yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds interesting. I think I'd like to do that. And I have. And you have too, haven't you?
I have, but I haven't opened the more colorful doors. I see your doors. They're like maybe mirrored disco ball on the outside and all
It's in
kinds
my
of fun
garage.
stuff. And there's like pounding beat coming from the other side and a weird smell coming through the crack. And you're like, oh, let's go. And I'm like going, maybe not, maybe not. But you go charging in.
I
And I love
do.
that.
Thank you. I bought a disco ball from a hotel that was being demolished many years ago. I still have the price tag. It was at least 40 years ago. Price tag was $275, and I had a little cash to burn, and I gave it to myself as a birthday present. And I bring it with me every time I move, and I've moved back and forth across the country. And I will tell you that it's hanging in my garage now on a kind of a pulley, and I have lights. I have strobe lights to go with it, and it used to bring it to my TV studio when I did a show called Something to Talk About in Great Neck on public access TV. And I had some brave crew members who would climb up on this. We had about 25-foot ceilings in this studio. He would climb up on the ladder, Ann, and hang this on a hook. And the ceiling there were big metal bars in the ceiling, and he would hang it. And then
Yeah.
we would put one of the cameras on the disco ball, and it had a motor, has a motor, and it would turn very slowly. And I would do my holiday special at the end of the year. I'd have dancers and singers and comedians and actors and musicians. And we would put one camera on the disco ball and superimpose it over the person performing. So they were performing inside of the disco ball.
Oh, cool.
Really cool. And I have carried that damn thing with me everywhere I've moved. And it's in the garage. No, it's not over my car. I have a 3-car garage and 1 car. So you can imagine where it is. And Charles, you are a delight. You are beautiful. You are talented. You are articulate. You are an inspiration. I am so, so honored that you accepted my invitation to be here. And I'm going to play the outro music, and we're going to go out with a smile and a laugh, and then we'll talk afterwards. Here we go.
So you wanna be
So you want to be Ann, a really cool kid, Saucy Dame. I need to change the lyrics to Saucy Dame. Looking real. She is real. Cool and fun. Can't help it. She's just fabulous. That's all. Casting your net. To Saucy Dame saying goodbye.